So Smackdown was important because the Usos returned in action, but instead of main eventing and supporting more drama there, they just put it as the match opener. Now, to not disclaim anything, the match was good. Good return match over for the Usos. Super kicks, average hot tags, basic one-on-ones. I still hate how the super kick has just been downgraded into a stun move. Good reverse into the Uso splash, and it looks like the Usos, even over a backstage segment, Jey Uso seems to be doing something like conflicted with his relationship with Jimmy. Thinks they thought because Jimmy thinks that they're back to being the regular old Usos. So there's at least more drama there. The rest of the show was just garbage. You can be like, oh, SmackDown's the best show going on in pro wrestling. It's the most watchable show in pro wrestling. Now, there's a difference between good and watchable. And all because the show is watchable doesn't mean that it's good. It just means it's consuming. And SmackDown is 2 hours. Over watching a 2 hour developmental show after you watch a 3 hour piece of garbage, I'd rather watch SmackDown. That's the only positive I'm going to admit in these videos. But the opener was a good match. Next up, we of course had the Riot Squad get squashed by Natalya and Tamina. You could tell that it was a random squash because Riot Squad didn't get an entrance. That was about it. Natalya just got isolated with Liv Morgan, a super kick, a discus clothesline into the Superfly splash. It was an average squash match that nobody cared about. Like the fact that they're trying to personify like a 40-year-old she-male that's trying so hard to just look like a fatter Lana and Tamina that's never been anything since like people forgot that she was in a relationship with Santino and managed Usos at one point and still sucks. It's just disclaiming how much like mediocrity we're expecting in this women's division. Even if you like pretend to think that giving these women tag titles are going to personify them even more screen time, bro. I just don't care. This was an average squash match for two women that should be like given more screen time than Natalya and Tamina. Like Liv Morgan should obviously be having more screen time. She was doing well last year when she was like given all these vignettes. They made her like in a gay storyline with Lana, and then like she was having a decent winning streak until she jobbed to Charlotte. I just don't get it. Like they have women that obviously have talent, could be on any other product and be profitable because like these chicks are somewhat attractive. Like Liv Morgan, Eva Marie's coming back, Asuka. You have Mandy Rose. Like women, these things should be selling on like WWE advertising. Like put them on like IG stuff. Like this is stuff that you can do to obviously spread over your product. Because if you be like, oh, who did? Who's this? They're gonna hear about WWE. It's like, oh, WWE has these hot women. Like, yeah, that's how it's gonna work. Like, there's a way to use over the modern medium because we know how much social media has declined. Most of like uh the surrealism that is pro wrestling. But there's a way to capitalize on it as well if you restrict and just make it all about the character. I don't really give a crap that that Alexa Bliss is like Chris P. Bacon. Sorry, pet pig died. I don't care. Like all due respect, and I'm not going to feel. I'm not going to be say it like I'm heartless. I too had the experience of a passing pet, and I understand that's like especially if you had a pet for a long time, that's partially like a piece of your family. Even how silly it is to admit that out loud, there is pets that feel like they're a huge part of your family, whether you like it or not. But just like a way for that to be at work, really? I mean, come on, Alexa. I have a lot more hope for you, especially with your potential. Then we have Bianca Bella versus Carmelo. She had a promo, like they're just wasting her. I don't know why. She has a dumb face, but she has a good figure. She can be an average wrestler, and here she is just jobbing out to Bianca Belair. We had like a thrust kick, that crap, the code of silence, like easily was reversed into uh, a KOD. The match was just two random squash matches. There was already too much like goddamn women's wrestling, and both of them were squash matches on the on the women's champions. Like, what's the point? Why can't you just have a number one contenders match? Like, why don't we do those anymore? Like, we barely do a number one contenders match until like they're force fed into the main event. And then we had Seth Rollins addressing like this was like the worst promo ever. Like, I swear to God, it was my birthday and I bet on his injury getting those fake checks. And like it was like 20 minutes of absolute nothing, saying how much he really hopes that he gets worse with his injury and singing happy birthday. Like, happy birthday to, like, how can you still have a high pitched voice? You're now in your mid 30s. You are a grown ass man. How do you still have a screeching high pitched voice? That is depressing. If I had that, I would end myself. While like I have a ginger wife. That's already two reasons to end it right there, man. And just seeing like no charisma come out of all of this, and you're mocking your opponent's injury. That's supposedly is supposed to give you the most heat. Like you're like celebrating over your opponent's downfall, and you're singing about it. And Seth just makes that feel like turn off the TV heat. That doesn't feel like, oh, I want to see Cesaro come back and hurt him. Then we had Kevin Owens versus Apollo Crews. And this was a non-title match. Cannonball suplex, cannonball senton, super kick. There was a spot over to the barricade. Kevin Owens like barely even had him over the finish until there was the Nigerian nail to the throat to cancel the match. That was about it. So they just finished it over a DQ. Apollo didn't even walk up. It just ended like, oh, like I get it, but why just have him in a match? Why not just have him over a tag team match? Because having the guy that you're trying to draw over a feud, it just collapse his throat for no reason. Like, how's that drawing over heat? That means the match is worthless. But I know they're gonna probably do a random steel cage match in the future involving Aziz and Kevin Owens because he collapsed the throat and probably cost him like I give him 2 weeks before he comes back, and they're just gonna do another repetitive work rate feud with Kevin Owens, like GameStop manager fat ass, because he just still comes around looking the goddamn same, even though he's been part of the company since 2015. And the only thing to change about him is that he shaved his beard once, and he got an arm tattoo, a bigger arm tattoo, other than that bullshit. I'm talking about his arm tat. So then we had uh Roman Reigns summoning Jey Uso in his quarters, being, you want to be champion, right? Why are you defiling me? Adam Pearce granted their request over backstage while Jey Uso looked like sad over being granted a title shot literally next week, and Roman Reigns coming around consulting him, saying he wants the best for him and Jimmy and for his family. So that's technically it. Like he probably just wants to still wants him over to be the main event after he opened the show. That was technically that. Why did you win a match in the opener? You're supposed to be main event Jey Uso. Like he's trying to conflict to his head. Like it's all right. I just don't care. Then we had Shinsuke Nakamura, and like let me give you something, bro. How come the side guy is more charismatic than the main guy? I see Eric Boogs. He's going with the guitar. I see him with the amps, crazy hair, crazy look, looking big, like over the top looking dude. Like the guy looks like he can be a silly dude in a commercial. I saw him over on Old Spice commercials. I've been hearing stuff over from TWRP. I saw a clip over him on YouTube. Like the guy has something, while Nakamura has nothing. And then like that's a sad combination. It's like and they're still feuding over the gay ass crowd. Eric Boogs come uh and then it would just be the same match. 6:30, King Corbin just claims that he deserves a crown, and it ends with a brawl. Coming over to the outside, Books comes to punch him, knock him out, and then they celebrate. I forgot that Gable was even wrestling him. Like that's how forgettable the match was. He just stands tall with the crowd while like Nakamura like squashes like Chad Gable, and that gay is like, and the bull is silent for Gable. Yikes. Our main event was a tag title match involving Mysterios and Robert Roode and Ziggler. And this is the same garbage from back WrestleMania Backlash. Except this time, Rey Mysterios is assaulted backstage. This is some universe mode shit to the nth degree. Because how uncreative and repetitive it is to just do, like, average feuds. Why can't they just be like, oh, this is based over nepotism, and Dominic gets a bit too cocky because he's literally the son of a future Hall of Famer. This could be like the downfall of why they had a short title reign. This could be the basis over it. Like we have Robert. This is beer money 2 point gay. Like this match was the same thing except Dominic. This is like unrealistically holding your own, bro. Like counter off the 619. Rey Mysterio comes over. The Mysterios still win. Like the unrealism in this is just so stupid. And it just doesn't get me behind the match. Doesn't get me behind the Mysterios. Like took like 20 minutes, and after the match, Usos hit the ring talking trash while Roman watched backstage, but happy about the development unfolding before him. That's about it. I don't really care. I don't really care. Like people can say that this is better than Raw, and the only reason it's better than Raw is because Roman is a more interesting champion. No disrespect to Bobby Lashley, but there's only like barely any storylines whenever he's conflicting with Drew McIntyre or Kofi Kingston. And it's just so bland that these are just regular matches. The only thing is at least Drew McIntyre looks like a pro wrestler, while like all Roman is feuding with his upper mid carders. But at least like the show is more consumable. Matches are a bit more watchable because they're in a more condensed setting that you can watch a 20-minute match because they have enough build for it. But this is so garbage. Main event was so like so unoriginal, and it just has such a lack of drama in it that it just got me like less conflicted. The opener was better than this. But other than that, that's all I got for this review. Thank you for watching, and of course there'll be more videos. I understand I'm a bit late over with these uploads, but I had a quite important weekend. Please subscribe if you feel more conflicted to watch my content. That's it coming from me, bro. Thanks for watching.